wide, like, damn, I've never seen something that big. And then she saw the sunbeams streaming from his pants. She caught the sight of beautiful flowers all around and thought, if you bring grandmother a fresh bouquet, she'll be delighted. It's still early enough that I'm sure when you get there, in plenty of time. Little Red Riding Hood left the path and ran off into the woods with the wolf. Got boned for several hours. As soon as she picked one, Dick, she spotted an even more beautiful Dick somewhere else and went after it. And so she went even deeper. It actually said that part. The wolf ran straight to grandmother's house and knocked it out. Who's there, Little Red Riding Hood? I brought some cakes and wine. Just open the door and the vagina. Raise the latch, grandmother called out. I'm too weak to get out of bed. The wolf raised the latch. I'm gonna make that shit ill again. And the door swung wide open with her pussy loose. Without saying a word, he went straight to grandmother's bed and gobbled her right up. And it literally says that. Then he put on her clothes and was like, take those off again, bitch, I ain't done. He said, meanwhile, Little Red Riding Hood was running around looking for flowers. When she had gathered so many that she couldn't hold any more in her arms, she suddenly remembered her dildo at home. Got back on the path leading her to the house. She was so surprised to find the door wide open.
Back door wide open.
And Grandma already had it in her butt. Oh my goodness, it's so huge. I'm usually so glad to be at grandmother's house, but this time it felt really strange. That's funny. Little Red Riding Hood called out a greeting. There was no answer. She went over to the bed and drew back the curtain. Grandmother was lying there, you know, all oiled up. She looked very odd, because she was all oiled up. Oh, Grandmother, what big ears you have. The better to hear you with. Oh, Grandma, what big dildo you have. The better to stretch my vagina with. Oh, Grandmother, what big hands you have. Better to stretch your vagina with. Oh, Grandmother, what big scary mouth you have. The better to eat your vagina with. No sooner had the wolf said these words, he then leaped out of bed and gobbled up poor Little Red Riding Hood. Once the wolf had eaten his fill, he lay back down in bed and fell asleep and began to snore very loudly. A huntsman happened to be passing through the house. Just then he thought, how loudly this old woman is snoring. I better check and see if anything's wrong. He walked into the house and raped the wolf. About to take aim when he realized the wolf might have already eaten it. After making a few cuts, he caught a slight semen. Wow, that's weird. I actually thought it said semen. He made a few more cuts, and then a girl leaped out of his dick. Weird. I was so terrified. It was dark and weird in there. Although she could barely breathe. Obviously, the bitch was choking. The frail grandmother also found her way back into her belly. Little Red Riding Hood quickly fetched some large stones and filled the wolf's ass. When the wolf awoke, he tried to race off, but his butt cheeks were flapping. Little Red Riding Hood, her grandmother, and the human, and the huntsman were eating. They masturbated. The huntsman skinned the wolf and took the pelt home with him. Grandmother ate the cakes and drank the wine and got Little Red Riding Hood drunk as fuck. Little Red Riding Hood said to herself, never again will I stray away from that path and get pwned by a fucking wolf. Then she said, there was a story about another time when Little Red Riding Hood met a wolf on the way to grandmother's house as she was bringing her some cake and wine. The wolf tried to get her and stray away from the path. Little Red Riding Hood was outside.
Michael Jackson joined the cast.
So grandmother even met the wolf and
greeted her and picked that
cock.
What?
But he looked in such an evil way that she said, even if you ate me out, I wouldn't like it. Well, then, said grandmother, we'll just have to find out, won't we? Little Red Riding Hood was like, Grandma, that's incest, and we can't do that. Like, it's okay, mother. And then old Grave beard, circled his house, and moved on and jumped into the roof. That's Santa Claus. He was planning on waiting until Little Red Riding Hood went home to rape Grandma. They're about the same age, you know. Then he was going to creep on Snooky and her best friend, Nina. But grandmother figured out what was on their mind. It was like, them Jersey sluts only like Guido dick. Here's the bucket. Little Red Riding Hood, yesterday I cooked your sausage in it. Take the water in which they were boiled and drink it, because that's what you like, sausage water. Little Red Riding Hood kept taking water and dick until she was completely full with air and heat. The smell from his rank sausage reached the wolf's nostrils. His neck was stretched out so far from eating Grandma's pussy and being all swollen up that he lost his balance and began to slide down the roof.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
I don't know how he got on the roof. I've been skipping sentences and just on the ground. He slid right down and through. What? That doesn't even make sense. Okay, I'll make up my own part. She slid right down the Little Red Riding Hood, walked home cheerfully, and no one ever did. That was a shitty ending. And Grandma's pregnant. The end. Stepdaughters, what he should bring back for them. Beautiful dresses, said one of them. I want a hunk with a big penis. But Cinderella, he asked, why do you want that? Father, because yours is really tiny and I don't want it anymore.
My IQ dropping.
Whoa, Dad. And so he bought beautiful dresses, pearls, and a big hunk for the other.
Or rimming your brother. I don't know.
On the way home, Wahoo was riding through the thicket of green bushes. A hazel branch brushed against him and knocked his hat off. When he arrived home, he gave his stepdaughters what they had asked for, and his dick. Cinderella gave the branch to the hazel branch. Cinderella thanked him. That was good dick, Dad. Went to her mother's grave and planted the hazel sprig on it. She wept so hard that her tears fell to the ground and watered it. It grew and became legit. You hear this? That's a good story.
Got called a hooker bee.
Hooker bee? Yeah. That's right.
No, the real word.
No. I'm waiting. No more interruptions. That's a lot of my Cinderella kept pleading with her stepmother and finally relented. Here, I've dumped a bowl of my goodies into your face. If you could pick out the lentils, which I don't know what that is.
Lentils? What a bean.
Well, sorry. There's a note. Cinderella went into the garden. She can masturbate. And on the same little turtle doves and all, you little birds in the sky, come and help me.
He's angry because what happened?
Yeah, I totally lost my place, actually.
I think it was like here, because she didn't make it all up.
I'm pretty sure
You're talking about...
I've actually been reading this picture and have sex with her dad again because they're supposed to.
Yeah, let's watch a scary movie. What are we watching?
Fine! I thought this story was great! Anyways, the three little men in the woods, they weren't part of the bargain because they were all gay. And he shoved into him with all his might. And then that guy sat down on his place again. Suddenly, more men started coming. In the chimney. One after another. They brought 9 dead men's bones. You guys get it, bones, penis. Yeah. Just making sure. Okay. They also brought 2 skulls to fuck. You ever heard of skull fucking? Yeah.
This is terrible.
And then he's like, hey man, can I join you? Sure, if you got some money. Plenty of money, he replied. Put your bowling balls in my mouth. He then took the skulls, sat down on the lathe, and worked it until they were nice and round. That's good. Now we should be able to bowl better. Hurrah! Let's go have a good time. He bawled each other, and then until the clock struck midnight. Everything suddenly vanished. He decided to lay down to try to get some sleep. The next morning he woke up and saw his asshole bleeding. How did that fare last night? Did you get those creeps? I played 9 pins. Yeah. 9 pins, I mean. I even lost a few. And again, did you get those creeps? Are you kidding? I had a terrific time too. Now if I could just learn how to get those creeps. On the 3rd night, he sat down on his bench again. This time he was in despair. If only I could learn how to get the creeps. Later, those 6 big men came walking in carrying his dick. He said to them, "That must be the cousin of mine who just died. Just a few days ago. It's still fresh enough to fuck. Come over here, cousin. Right over here." They put the coffin down on the ground and went over and took his lid off. The dead man was lying in the box, and the boy touched it. But it was cold as ice. And when he said, "I'm going to warm it up," and he went over to the fire. He warmed his hand on the butts and put it in. The dead man stayed cold, but his hand felt so warm. He put it on his lap. He started rubbing his limbs so that the blood would start circulating again. When that didn't work, the boy recalled it. When 2 people get under the covers, they can warm each other up. He brought the man over to the bed.